federal agents sit in front of my house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. One thing I fear in life, no, 2 things. I fear God and I fear the FBI. Only 2 things I'm scared in life.
Rapper 6ix9ine is struggling to make ends meet. With an expired record deal as well as his merchandising deal, he said that he doesn't know if he'll ever be able to get back to where he once was. He said in an unfavorable verdict from his court case, it actually could leave him bankrupt.
He bragged about stacks of cash high enough to block the sunlight, cars lined up like trophies, and designer bags tossed around like candy, but here's the dark twist. Behind the rainbow-colored hair and diamond-studded persona, the empire was already cracking. 6ix9ine. Ine built himself as the loudest, flashiest storm in hip-hop, but storms burn out, and what's left is nothing but wreckage. His story isn't just about a fall from fame, it's about betrayal, arrogance, secrets that refuse to stay buried, and whispers that he might have destroyed his own kingdom from the inside.
Deal, right? To play video games once a week for an hour, $2 million up front, and just doesn't do it. He had no money at the time, and he needed money to buy Birkin bags for all these black chicks. Right money to make his girlfriend. That's literally like the factual story. He told the company, I need $2 million up front so I can buy a content house. Guys,
Do It is a great guy. I want to start off saying that Steve Do It is a great guy. I have so much stuff for him.
Don't say damn. Like,
I don't want to address
it, bro. He's a good guy. You just, unfortunately, the YouTube shit really fucks with his head.
I just think there was a lot of misunderstanding. I want to take this time to apologize to Steve Do It because he put his neck out there for me. The kid is a great guy. My dream is that me and him could reconcile because at the end of the day, I fucked up.
This isn't just about a rapper going broke. This is a cautionary tale about how fast loyalty, love, and money can evaporate. And by the end of this, you'll see why his so-called legend might be nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Before we dive deeper, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think 6ix9ine's downfall is real, or just another one of his stunts to stay relevant? At his peak, he wasn't just an artist, he was a human headline. Every move was chaos perfectly packaged for the internet age. When he shouted, millions listened. When he dropped a video, views broke records within hours. His colored hair, his tattoos, his unapologetic defiance, he was a meme come to life. And in the early days, it worked.
1,050,000, 1,100,000, 5 houses right here, maybe 2 houses right there, you feel me? I do not cap, this is really my lifestyle. This is how I really live. Like, I'm genuinely sorry. And another thing I want to address, for the King of New York shit, let's cut that out. Little boy, sit down. If you don't got this watch, I'm not beefing with anybody from New York if you don't got this watch. If you don't got this watch right here, you a little boy to me. I'll kiss you on your forehead, you a little boy. Sit down. King's home. It's over.
Fans loved that he wasn't polished or corporate, that he seemed untouchable, immune to the rules. But here's the mystery. Was it all really authentic? Because as fast as he rose, the contradictions started stacking. He built an image of wealth and dominance, but behind the scenes, deals were collapsing.
Struggling to make ends meet. I do not know if I will ever command the kind of advances I was paid before my arrest and my career stalled, 6ix9ine claimed. I did receive large advances under the recording artist and merchandising agreements prior to my arrest. However, I do not receive any royalties under these agreements either, since my royalty accounts remain unrecouped. It will surely bankrupt me in a way from which I will never recover, to the permanent detriment and hardships of the family members who rely upon me, he added. Whack 100 confirmed that 6ix9ine has little to no money, telling people on Clubhouse that the rapper does not have any money coming in. Who cares if you're broke? They're still gonna come at you with the judgment and make it so that you can't own anything for the rest of your life if that's the case.
Debts were mounting, and allies were whispering that the King of New York wasn't actually a king at all. He was playing dress up with borrowed jewels. The roots of that contradiction go back further than many realize. Daniel Hernandez didn't just grow up tough, he grew up in chaos, losing his stepfather to murder, dropping out of school, scraping by with odd jobs. He transformed his pain into a weapon, rebranding himself with wild colors, aggressive delivery, and an image too loud to ignore. His breakout Gummo wasn't just music, it was a declaration of war on subtlety. Fans believed he lived the life he rapped about, rolling with dangerous crews, defying authority, daring anyone to check him. But here's the catch. The same gang ties he flaunted weren't just props for a video. They were real, and they dragged him into a spiral of violence, crime, and consequences that no music video could edit out. He thought he could borrow danger as an aesthetic.
It's broke. The bad bill Latino, espero la broke. las brocas, Takashi 6ix9ine. Pero yo no sé, es mucho dinero no more, baby. It's mucho broke, okay? Very broke. The Takashi 6ix9ine is broken. I mean, basically the security, the woman, the baby mother, the grill, the necklace, jewelry, everything broke.
But danger, once invited, doesn't leave quietly. The first major crack in his empire came from the past he couldn't escape. His 2015 felony involving a minor resurfaced just as his fame exploded. At first, many brushed it off, but as documents circulated and timelines were fact-checked, fans realized the story didn't match the excuses. Instead of remorse, he doubled down, throwing new scandals over old ones like a magician distracting the crowd with sparks. But the public never forgot. His critics branded him a predator, his defenders struggled to justify it, and suddenly the colorful rebel wasn't just controversial, he was dangerous in all the wrong ways. And yet, somehow, his numbers kept climbing. That was the strangest twist of all. The worse his reputation got, the more attention he pulled. But attention isn't the same as respect, and once respect is gone, every win becomes hollow. Then came the illusion of riches, the flex that fans eventually realized was all smoke. He flashed pyramids of cash on Instagram, bragged about exotic cars, and showered girlfriends with designer gifts. But insiders began whispering it was all fake, that the money was borrowed or staged, and that the rapper who once claimed to have 5 houses right here, maybe 2 more over there, was actually drowning in debt. He owed millions in taxes, millions in lawsuits, and millions more in unpaid settlements. To cover up the cracks, he kept the flex going, but fans weren't fooled forever. The more he flaunted, the more desperate it looked. Imagine spending $2 million on gifts and stunts while your own child barely received $2,000 in 5 years. That wasn't flexing, it was exposing priorities twisted beyond repair. Allegations from former friends only made the story darker. Whispers circulated that he signed multi-million-dollar contracts, took the money up front, then bailed on his obligations. Rumors spread about a $2 million streaming deal where he showed up only a handful of times before disappearing. Others claimed he wasted the money on content houses, girlfriends, and empty stunts. Whether every detail is true or not almost doesn't matter. The reputation damage was done. Even those closest to him painted him as unreliable, arrogant, and obsessed with optics over substance. When your friends start calling you a fraud, the industry listens. Suddenly, he wasn't just a controversial figure, he was a liability. But the deepest betrayal wasn't financial, it was personal. His ex, Sarah Molina, went public with claims that he neglected his daughter, choosing clout and luxury over fatherhood. She accused him of never showing up, of putting their child second to Birkin bags and viral videos. Another ex echoed similar claims, saying he barely acknowledged his second daughter. For fans who once cheered his family-first bravado in interviews, these accusations were devastating. Whether you believed Sarah fully or thought bitterness played a role, the public narrative became fixed. He was a deadbeat dad who abandoned his children while parading his wealth online. Nothing corrodes a public image faster than being seen as a father who doesn't care. And then came the ultimate twist: betrayal in the underworld. When the feds closed in on his gang ties, 6ix9ine faced decades behind bars. Instead of standing tall in silence, he took the deal snitching on associates, detailing crimes, and walking free years earlier than expected. On paper, it saved his life. In culture, it ended it. Hip-hop is built on codes, and loyalty is the foundation. To snitch is to exile yourself permanently. Overnight, he went from king to clown, from feared to mocked. He tried to own it, taunting critics by embracing the rat label, but it only deepened the wound. Fans who once saw him as fearless now saw him as faithless. And faith is one thing you can't buy back. When he tried to relaunch his career after prison, the cracks became impossible to hide. His comeback single broke records in its first 24 hours, but the hype burned out almost immediately. His songs charted high, then collapsed. His albums sold, but nowhere near what they should have, and his charity stunts even backfired. When one nonprofit publicly rejected his donation, it was clear his money wasn't welcome, and neither was he. What was supposed to be redemption turned into rejection, and every attempt to spin it came off as desperation. You can cheat the system, but you can't cheat perception, and his perception was permanently poisoned. Legal battles piled up like bricks in a tomb. Arrests overseas, probation violations, drug test failures, and civil lawsuits drained whatever energy he had left to rebuild. Judges seized assets, exes filed claims, and the IRS circled like vultures. He could release another song, another video, another controversy, but none of it stopped the bleeding. And worse, every time he landed back in court, the internet feasted on it, turning his misery into memes. The king of controversy had become the punchline of his own show. Now comes the mystery. Is he truly broke? Or is this just another act? Some whisper that he's hiding money overseas, others claim the flex is completely over, and what you see is the truth: he's finished. What's undeniable is this: whether broke or not, he's lost the trust, respect, and loyalty that once made him untouchable. And in this business, money can vanish and return, but respect almost never does. His empire wasn't destroyed by rivals, cops, or critics. It was destroyed by his own hand. And here's where the story gets darker still. Rumors swirl of secret deals, money hidden in offshore accounts, and alliances with shadowy investors who front him just enough to keep up appearances. If true, it means the broke narrative is another con, another mask. If false, it means he's scraping the bottom, desperate to maintain relevance. Either way, the truth is hidden behind layers of lies, and that's the real tragedy. No one can tell anymore if 6ix9ine is living in reality or in a self-built fantasy that's falling apart. Others claim the industry itself conspired to bury him, that no matter what he released, doors were slammed, deals blocked, and promoters warned. Some say his downfall was personal choice, others whisper it was orchestrated by enemies who waited for the perfect moment to cut him off. The mystery is part of why his name still trends. Was he a victim of betrayal himself, or did he orchestrate his own destruction? That question will haunt him forever, because both answers can be true at once. And then there's the final twist: the silence of his fans. Once, his army defended him against every criticism, drowning out haters with memes and numbers. Now, that silence is deafening. His posts don't pull millions anymore, his songs don't dominate, and his name, once shouted, is now whispered in mockery. For someone who thrived on noise, silence is the cruelest punishment. In the end, 6ix9ine proved he could conquer charts, courtrooms, and controversies, but he couldn't conquer himself. And that is the mystery that will define his legacy forever. But here's the twist no one talks about: the enemies he made along the way. Whispers circulate that some of the people he snitched on never forgot, and that's why he lives in constant paranoia. Rumors claim he moves from place to place, never staying too long, terrified that one day the wrong face will show up at the wrong time. This isn't just internet drama, it's the kind of fear that corrodes you from the inside. Fans notice it too, pointing out how jumpy he looks in interviews, how defensive he gets in random live streams, as if ghosts from the past are always standing just out of frame. Fame gave him millions of eyes on him, but betrayal made him millions of targets, and that's a price no amount of clout can cover. The mystery is whether he can keep running forever, or if one day, the storm he created will finally catch him in real life. And finally, there's the question of legacy. 10 years from now, will anyone remember the records he broke, or will they only remember the scandals, the betrayals, and the downfall? For every fan who says he changed hip-hop with his unapologetic energy, there are 5 more who say he destroyed himself with arrogance and greed. His name could have been written next to legends, but instead, it's carved into the cautionary tales, alongside every artist who thought controversy was enough to build a kingdom. The saddest part? He had everything: fame, money, influence, and millions of loyal fans, and he still managed to lose it all. Not because the world took it from him, but because he handed it away piece by piece. That's the final twist in 6ix9ine's story. The biggest enemy he ever faced wasn't the industry, the feds, or the haters. It was himself.